Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Girl MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Dee Woodson will not be with us tonight. A little bit under the weather, but we do hope and pray for Dee's well being. And guys, well, we're going to do it. Here we go. So we have, as always, a couple of shows tonight, AEW Dynamite, and we also have NXT. So we're just going to kick right along and started with a promo segment by Cody Rhodes. Very good, very decent on the mic. Good start to the show. I think it was a very good, slick way of starting it. Then, of course, we did have Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho on commentary. And, I thought it was a really, good start to the show. Really nothing more to add, which led to the first fight of the night. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara in the TNT title tournament quarterfinal matchup. When it was all said and done, Darby Allin advances to the semifinal. He will fight the American Nightmare Cody, winning the match in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Good, solid fight. Good start to the show. Both men did really well on this one. I'm going to give this about 3.5 stars. I thought they really did a great job. Set the table for the rest of the night. Nothing more to say, Anthony Florio. A solid way to start the show. Darby Allin advances to the semifinal. He now goes on with the date with the American Nightmare Cody.
Which makes a lot of sense because of the fact that we know what happened some time ago when Darby Allin laid out Cody. So
I think he attacked them about I think it was either 3 weeks or about a month ago. Yeah.
So it only makes sense. It only makes sense that that he went over in this match. So, but yeah, I mean, this was a very good matchup here. I mean, these two always work well together. We all know that. I mean, we saw what happened. You remember at the Revolution event, but anyways, this was another great matchup here. That's about 3.5 stars. I definitely agree with that. I mean, it was I think it was even better than what we saw at Revolution. I mean, and I got to give it up for Darby. I mean, Darby using a submission maneuver to win this match. I didn't even know he had any submission moves in him. I really did not see that coming. I mean, he went to work on Sammy Guevara to the point where he took off his boot and his sock to expose his bare foot and went to work on that thing. And then he hit this this Last Supper maneuver, which is a pretty cool maneuver. So yeah, a little bit of some technical in there, a little bit of some high flying action. I mean, I could go as far as to say maybe this was the fight of the night right here. So 3.5 stars for me. I couldn't agree more, MF. So Darby moves on. Darby and Cody, they're going to go at it. I smell a show stealer whenever that match goes down. So really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, 3.5 star match. Very, very good way to start the show. And I know we poo-poo on Sammy Guevara all the time, but even though we don't personally like him, I think we should respect him because he really put forth a great effort, even with that exposed foot.
Yeah, I mean he really showed that toughness in this match here. Yeah, I'm gonna give it about 3.5 stars as well. I think both guys really delivered with their with this. I mean, you saw a little bit of everything in this match, and yeah, I mean, Darby Allin really went to work on Sammy Guevara's foot, but Sammy Guevara hung in there until the end. So, yeah, I'll give it about 3.5 stars, and maybe the fight of the night. So there's really nothing more to say. Oh, I think we just lost MF Florio.
Yeah, I see. We have lost MF, so we're just gonna have to.
So
We're just gonna have to continue on here. So I'll step it in here and just let me know if he comes back in, Bullock, and I'll
oh, there he is.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Forgive me, guys. I was trying to close out one of my windows on my computer and I hit the wrong button. Doy. God, I hate when that happens. All right. So,
Oops.
yeah, major oops. I mean, that's a doy. What were you thinking? All right.
Joy.
Anyway, next up we
So
had.
it's yours, Fletch.
All right, cool. Next up we had was a Hardy Compound segment. You could talk about the Hardy challenged the Inner Circle to an elite deletion. Well, Jericho didn't have any footage or anything to say, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Next up we had Kenny Omega 1-on-1 against Alan Angels. Kenny Omega wins the match in 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony, well, it wasn't the most credible victory, but Kenny Omega, another impressive performance.
Absolutely. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars for the effort. It was a nice match, but Kenny just seems like a regular guy with good athleticism and several cool moves. He's not being framed or framing himself in any way that shouts he's a breakout top star ratings draw. It's like he's too cool to try to be a star, and maybe that will work in the long run, but it's risky. He shouldn't be taking 6 minutes to beat a nobody who was framed from early in the match as a nobody by the announcers. So I'm going to give this between 2 to 2.5 for the effort. So it was an extended showcase. That's what it was. I mean, he should not have had any trouble with this guy whatsoever. So just my opinion. Bullet, just take it. 2.5.
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 as well. I mean, yeah, I agree with Florio. It shouldn't have taken Kenny Omega this long to beat this guy. I mean, I think it should have been 2 minutes or maybe even 2.5 minutes for him to lay waste to this guy. But I'll give credit where credit is due. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give this about 2. I mean, this was an alright fight. I don't think there was nothing to write home about. But it was good for what it was worth. I don't think it was anything special than that. Then next up that we had a match. It was freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy alongside his buddies Chucky T, Chuck Taylor, and Trent. He went up against Jimmy Havoc. And the winner of the bout in 9 minutes and 5 seconds was freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy getting the roll up, the 1, 2, 3. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
I'll tell you what, MF. I mean, in the beginning, I'll say Orange Cassidy basically got the crap beat out of him by Jimmy Havoc. I mean, for a minute there, I thought this was gonna be a squash match. I mean, but yeah, I mean, in the end, Orange Cassidy did get it going, but we did have a lot of craziness in this match, especially near the end. And basically, well, one of them was Penelope Ford tried to interject herself and nearly cost Orange Cassidy the match. So, and because of the roll up, I can only give this maybe about another 2.5. It was all right, but it was really nothing that much to write home about. But yeah, big win for Orange Cassidy. So I'm only giving it 2.5 because of the little bit of the interference that we saw from Penelope Ford. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Hey, baby girl, memo to you. Don't ever get involved in an Orange Cassidy fight. It's a good thing there was no fans there, because if they were there, they would have caused a riot. They don't like interference. Orange Cassidy, look, like you said, got the Tarby out of him early in the fight. For the first 5 minutes, looked like an absolute nightmare for Orange Cassidy. Like, if you're an Orange Cassidy fan, you probably had your fingers in your face, and you're trying to look through your fingers. I know. With this all COVID-19, don't touch your face and all this stuff. But guys, it was pretty brutal early in the fight. Jimmy Havoc was having his way with Orange Cassidy. And then there was a nice little 3-4 minute sprint. And that's when Cassidy finally turned it around, got the victory, stole the win. But boy, did he pay a price after the match. Jimmy Havoc was not having it. DDT's Orange Cassidy. That led the Best Friends to jump in. And I don't know if it was, I think it was Trent that said it. Open fired on Penelope Ford, saying, next time you get involved, honey, you're going to get your butt kicked. And you know what? I'm not one to hit a woman, so I'm just going to beat the crap out of your boyfriend, Skip Sabian. So that's going to be interesting. It looks like Havoc and Sabian just might have irked the Best Friends, because especially after Cassidy winning the match the way he won it. But I'll give it 2 stars. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, yeah, baby girl was trying to stick her nose where it didn't belong. She better watch her nose the next time, or it might be a butt kicking she might get.
Yeah, you'd like to see that, wouldn't you? But anyways, 2.5 to 3 for me. I mean, that was a lot of fun. They told a good little story to build up the bout, and then seeing Cassidy in a full-fledged singles match, doing his gimmick in a reasonably realistic manner in the course of a match was nice. This was a good use of Havoc too. And Chris Jericho on commentary continues to steal the show with his dry humor and historical and clever references. So a lot of good came out of that for me. So 2.5 to 3. So I could probably say he's third best fight of the night here. So let's just move on.
Unfortunately,
yeah, and like you said, Fletch, Penelope Ford better watch herself, or an ass kicking might be in order.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's going to be an ass kicking or a good spanking, but hey, I'm leaving that alone. I don't touch it, guys. Please don't go there. I'm just going to leave it there, and we'll just move right along. Unfortunately, guys, we do got a couple of fights that we don't need to get into. It was Wardlow versus Lee Johnson. Wardlow wins the match in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Then we had Brody Lee versus Justin Law. Brody Lee wins in about 2 minutes, which led to some filler stuff. And then, the final fight of the night was the other quarterfinal of the TNT title tournament quarterfinal match. Dustin Rhodes going one-on-one with the aforementioned Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford. And when it was all said and done, winner of the bout in 14 minutes and 10 seconds, Dustin Rhodes advances to the semifinals. So there you go. The semifinals is now set, and Kip Sabian gets eliminated. He will now have to team up against Jimmy Havoc, because they will indeed be fighting the Best Friends. No DQ, no count out, next week on Dynamite. And then, of course, the semifinals of the TNT title tournament, as it will be Darby Allin versus the American Nightmare Cody, and Dustin Rhodes goes on the other end, and I believe it's MJF in the other semifinal, Anthony?
No, it's Lance Archer.
It's Lance Archer. So Archer versus one of the Rhodes brothers, the other Rhodes versus Darby Allin. Ooh, this is going to get very interesting. So you could say by default, second best fight of the night. Good match, solid bout. I'm going to say this was about another 3.5 stars. I mean, it was a good main event. Not the most flashiest main events, even though it's nice to see Dustin Rhodes get the main event spot tonight. And, he did a pretty good job. But, I mean, it was good, not great, but a good win for him. It advances him to the semifinal, but he's going to run into Lance Archer. Oh, that's not a good matchup for Dustin Rhodes. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I don't think Dustin goes to the final. I think his road will end next week. Yeah, Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Yes, I did that in Spanish. Anthony, if you want to know that, I'll tell you what it is later. But I think you should know it because I've done it in the past. But yeah, say the prayers. Put a little summons or sermon for Dustin Rhodes, because I think he's going to need it next week. To the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, man. Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Because he's probably going to need it. Because he's going to go up against one heck of a fighter named Lance Archer. So 3 to 3.5. Anthony, it's yours.
Mr. Rhodes, services are right now. I mean, channel my inner Bobby Heenan when in those early days of The Undertaker. But anyways, yes, 3 to 3.25 stars. This was the second best fight of the night here. Not a surprise finish, as Archer and Dustin makes more sense than Dustin losing and retiring. Definitely give an assist to Brandy. I mean, Brandy. Now I know several months ago I made a controversial comment saying that I never wanted to see her, wrestle in a ring again. But I will say this though. That spear that she hit on Penelope Ford, that was actually good. I liked it. Very nice.
She has her moments, Florio. I think we can openly admit it. She has her moments, but
she had a good one tonight.
But she had a good one tonight. Yes.
Yes. Not referring to that god awful match we saw at the start of the year, but
no.
But anyways, what a spear though. Wow. Insane. And that led to her brother-in-law getting the win. So we'll see what happens. It's obviously I still think it's going to be Cody and Archer for the final because of the history of those two, and it wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to Cody and Archer for the TNT Championship whenever that goes down. But for right now, this was a 3 to 3.25 star match. This was the second best fight of the night. You can make an argument for the fight of the night, but I think the opener was just a smidgen better with Allen and Guevara. So nothing more to say. Let's get into our final thoughts.
Bullock?
Hey, what about me?
I'm excited, man. Let's go.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Nomar.
Go
ahead, Nomar. It's yours.
No, that's okay, Florio. I can understand your excitement. So, all right. Yeah, 3.5. I'll give it the rating. I mean, yeah, Dustin Rhodes going over was the right move, but damn, I mean, all I can say is Fletch, whatever the nearby hospital is in the wherever it is, they better get ready because they may have a delivery on the way when Lance Archer gets done with Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and a little side note, spatula to try to rake off Penelope Ford's body from the ring after she got speared out of her boots, thanks to Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah. And all I could say is she got her comeuppance, especially after what she tried to pull earlier in the night.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was going to come back and bite her eventually with her interference, and Brandy Rhodes made sure that she got her comeuppance, and boy howdy, in a big way.
I'm just wondering if that just opened the door for a Brandy versus Penelope fight.
Well, time will tell.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
But either way, nice win for Dustin. But man, to those Dustin Rhodes fans, you better say a prayer for him, because he may get the crap beat out of him big time at the hands of Lance Archer. Let's just move on to final thoughts, Fletch.
Anthony, you lead off on the final thought.
Okay. This week's episode of AEW Dynamite was an improvement over last week's effort. It was good, enjoyable. Tony Schiavone, Chris Jericho, so much fun on commentary. They continued giving the right people wins, advanced the TNT tournament, set up next week's show nicely. Both semifinal matches are going to go down next week, from what I'm reading here. We're also going to see that tag team no disqualification match with the Best Friends against Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. And also on tap for next week, I think we're going to have to say another round of prayers because Marco Stunt, poor little Marco Stunt of the Jurassic Express, he's about to get fed to the Exalted One. So, yeah, hit me with that Spanish prayer one more time, Matt, because
I'm not gonna do it. Not for Marco. If it would have been for Jungle Boy, definitely he deserves it. Marco Stunt, yeah, nope. Sorry, crush him, Brody.
Okay. But anyways, a quick analysis. As far as the fight of the night, that was Allen and Guevara. They have great chemistry. They're such creative performers. They come up with spots and ideas that others simply are not open-minded or carefree enough to attempt. That opening ladder spot was ridiculous and probably could have been saved for a show with an actual crowd. The ankle work from Allen was fantastic, and Guevara repeatedly worrying about countering him ultimately proved his downfall by way of the Last Supper. And either man could have won, but Allen clearly is the breakout star. Management is fully behind. A date with Cody in the semis, that will only elevate his star going forward. And though he lost, make no mistake about it, Guevara will be warring with Darby Allin for many years as they move into even more prominent roles in AEW, and we, the fans, will all benefit because of that. I mean, it was, and that's all I can say on that. Now, as far as the Cassidy and Havoc match goes, I mean, it felt more like a jobber getting beaten down by an established. Well, that was more of the other match, but anyways, it was definitely an improvement over last week's match. Yes, we saw a couple of squash matches with Wardlow and the Exalted One in action, but the Dustin Rhodes story, that was great. I mean, that match was perfectly fine. The psychology was solid enough, even if the selling was a bit spotty late. But both Rhodes and Sabian told a long story. The only nitpick on that was it lacked a sense of urgency, given the stipulations Rhodes had on the match. It was almost as if it was shoehorned into the bout after it had already been taped, but there was very little drama and no real suggestion this might be Rhodes' last match outside of the work of Jericho and the great Tony Schiavone at the announce position. And had it featured that and actually played up the idea that Sabian might actually retire Rhodes, it would have been a better bout and a more engrossing viewing experience. But as it is, it was a solid enough bout that sets up a semifinal round with storyline potential both ways. So very much looking forward to next week's show. So really nothing more to say on this. So Michael Bullock, let's get your final thoughts on Dynamite here.
Yeah, it was definitely an improvement from last week. I mean, we got to see we got the semifinals of the TNT Championship tournament all set up. You had a good matchup with You have both good matchups with Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, and Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian. Yeah, so and also, I mean, you set up some of the matches for next week, like you said, with the best friends going up against Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. So especially with those rules, and you obviously know with those rules, you know Penelope Ford's not going to hesitate to stick her nose where it doesn't belong. So and with the rules, if she does get involved, it's legal because of the no disqualification rules. So yeah, so a good improvement this week. So nothing more to say. Fletch, I give it to you.
All right, it's time for NXT. So, boys, buckle up on this one. We started off with Velveteen Dream cutting a promo. Was I guess you could say interrupted along the way by Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. They ran out. Then Keith Lee runs out to make the save. It was definitely an interesting start to the show. Then we get into the first fight of the night. Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 4 minutes and 39 seconds, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, and it was Gonzalez catching Blackheart with the your grade for the win. Look, I'm gonna say it. We're gonna restart. We're gonna reset the table. Clean win by the heels. Very rare you see something like that, but a dominating performance by Raquel Gonzalez. Dakota Kai was pretty good as well, but this was definitely a showcase for Raquel, showing the heavy that she is definitely the power of the team. And who knows, man? You got to keep a real close eye on this one, guys, because who knows? If Raquel decides to break away from Dakota sometime down the very near future, Raquel Gonzalez is going to be a monster player in the NXT women's division. Uh, who knows? Is she the next big name in NXT? After the performance she gave tonight, that answer could be a resounding yes. 2 to 2.5 stars for me, Anthony Florio. It's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, you're absolutely right. Raquel Gonzalez definitely has the potential to be a breakout star. I could not agree more. I do think she needs a little more seasoning, though, because she is still rather new. Even though I actually do know her, she was Reina Gonzalez. She was in one of the Mae Young Classics. I remember that very vividly because, I watched both of those religiously when they went down. But anywho, I agree with the rating. I'm actually going to give it a solid 2.5. There's no question about that. Dakota Kai has adapted the role of a heel very well after spending her entire NXT run as a babyface. She uses dirty tactics and has great facial expressions. Performing without fans is still harder for some talents than others. Shotzi Blackheart is a lot of fun to watch, but I think her gimmick and shtick would be a lot better if she had a crowd around her. And as far as Gonzalez, like I said, she's still new, but is already establishing a reputation as one of the tougher stars in the division. This was a solid match, but it didn't really do all that much to stand out. So, but I will give it 2.5 for the effort. So, there's nothing more to say on this. So, let's toss it to Mr. NXT himself, Michael Bullock. How do you feel about Raquel Gonzalez? Are you as high on her as MF is?
I'll tell you what, I am high on her, but I mean, like you said, I mean, I think this is only like her second match overall in NXT. I think so. She does need a little more seasoning, but somewhere down the line, I mean, if that continues, she will be a star. And well, and after what we saw tonight with what she did, I think we learned a lesson. Do not piss off Raquel Gonzalez, especially with the the power she possesses, because if you call her, well, let's just say, and I hope she's not watching this, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. I mean, it starts off as a witch, and it goes,
Oh,
but instead of a
okay.
W,
I
it's
know
a
where you're
B.
going. I know where you're going. Yep. Don't say that
Yeah,
to her. Nope.
yeah. You say that to her,
Mm-mm.
bad things could happen, and I'm not gonna be that person to to be the first victim.
Good man.
Because yeah, because if she was like right in front of me and she heard me say that, you want to know what my reaction would be? That would be my reaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, so 2.5. I do agree with the rating. Yes, I mean obviously you knew Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai were going over, especially after what happened last week when Tegan Knox beat Raquel Gonzalez. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right. We start off the next part of the action with the first of a couple of inter-room NXT Cruiserweight Championship Tournament matches. Fight number one, Jake Atlas goes one-on-one with Drake Maverick in Group A, and it was Jake Atlas winning the match in 6 minutes and 28 seconds. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Yeah. Solid match here. No doubt about it here. I'm gonna give this a solid 3 for the effort. About 2.5 to 3 for the effort, I should say. This was, I'll say it like this: WWE rarely. Now, here's the thing: Drake Maverick, he was named in that Black Wednesday report from last week as a release, but WWE rarely acknowledges when somebody is released. But Drake Maverick was given a video package showing the video he made following the news. The former 205 Live desperate. He was treating this bout job dependent on it because that is what the storyline called for. Some people might think WWE is wrong for releasing him and still asking him to work during this pandemic. But if this gives Maverick more exposure before he has to look for a new job, he was probably grateful for the opportunity. Maverick is a great performer, and he made Atlas look good for somebody who has only been in the business for a few years. It's too bad this could be the last time we see the former rock star Spud in a WWE ring. So that's really all I can say on this. So I'm going to give this 2.5, maybe 2.5 for the effort. So, but a good outing for Atlas. We'll see what happens as we continue on with this round robin tournament here. So I'm giving it 2.5. So Bullock, what very interesting circumstances here. Maverick gets released, but yet he still works the match here.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that, but I think because well, let's not forget. I mean, his name was already put in that interim cruiserweight tournament before he got cut. So I think WWE is going to let Maverick fill out his performances until he eventually gets eliminated, and then I think he'll eventually move on. So 2.5 stars is my rating on the match. So nothing more to say. Fletch, yours.
Yeah, 2.5 stars. Nothing more. It was a pretty decent fight. I do know that some of the WWE stars, that they're actually being recalled on a pay for play purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get let go, because Sarah Logan was actually supposed to work Monday Night Raw, but they actually decided not to use her. Drake Maverick is being used now. Even though he was let go or furloughed. I don't know if it's a straight release, but they are going to keep him. It looks like they are keeping him around for at least the completion of the tournament. So we'll see more of Drake Maverick in the next few weeks. As far as it goes beyond that, well, that remains to be seen. So next up, then we had a whole bunch of other filler stuff, but we do get into another tournament match. Kushida going one-on-one with the Supreme Athlete Tony Nese. When it was all said and done, it was Kushida winning the match. I do not have a time, unfortunately, but he did win the match via submission as he put in the Spanish Fly hoverboard lock on Tony Nese, and it was tap out time. So, Michael Bullock, it is all yours, my friend. Unfortunately, I don't have a time.
It was about 11 minutes. It was about 11 minutes.
About 11 minutes. All right. Anthony says 11 minutes, so Bullock, it's yours.
Oh, thank you, Florio. I mean, I was going to try to find it, but you saved it. You saved me from having to find it. So, yeah, I'll give it about 3.5 for the match. I mean, I thought both men looked really good in this match, and obviously you had to have Kushida go over here, and so yeah, I mean, nice win for Kushida. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
3.5, and to me, the fight of the night. I'll give it the fight of the night honor on this one. This was a great matchup. This was a solid fight. Kushida and Tony Nese looked really good in the ring. I thought they worked really well, and I'm really excited, especially for Kushida. I really think he's going to do really well under this tournament format. I don't know if he's going to make it to the final, but he's going to look really good. He's going to fight really good. I got nothing else to add. So 3.5, fight of the night for me. Anthony, go.
The correct time of the fall was 11 minutes and 7 seconds for those of you scoring at home. Three stars for me. This tournament struck me as the next big moment for either Isaiah Swerve Scott or Kushida with El Hijo del Fantasma, a dark horse. I just don't see Kushida losing any group matches, though I would not have been surprised by a first match upset here. The match was a very strong mat-based affair, as you would expect. And, wow. The Premier Athlete and the Japanese Superstar each received a short video before the bout where they talked about how much winning the title would mean to them. This was a great match that allowed both men to show off what makes them special. Nese, even in defeat, looked better than he has in months. Even though this is a round-robin tournament, this is a combination WWE should keep in its back pocket for the future. They had great chemistry here. So I definitely agree. This was probably the fight of the night here. About 3 to 3.5, I agree. So let's move on.
Then we had ourselves the promo as it was Johnny Gargano with his wife, Candice LeRae, and they cut a promo. This was pretty good. This was classic heels, Gargano and Candice. They played their roles really well. It's going to be interesting to see these two maybe trying to be the next, it looks like they definitely have lofty expectations to be husband and wife and also the NXT and NXT Women's Champion. So, let's see how it plays out. I mean, this is going to be very interesting to see. Anthony, it's all yours, my friend. I thought they did a pretty good job with this.
Pretty good job. They did a very good job with this, MF. I mean, fantastic delivery by both. And once again, Jeremy Borash knocks one of these segments out of the park. I mean, this definitely had some Borash fingerprints on this. It definitely had a little bit of a cinematic approach. And, he's the master of that.
Yep.
So, and I think it shows once again here tonight. This was absolutely fantastic. This was well done. And by the way, Candice LeRae, I love your new look, darling. I can't wait to see it in a match. Well done. I love her new look. So she's no longer that sweet blonde-haired girl that everybody fell in love with. No, I mean, she's got like bluish now style hair with dark lips now. I love it. So nothing really more to say. Michael Bullock, quick thought on this.
Oh boy, I never would have thought I'd hear Anthony Florio say that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very well done. I mean, obviously Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae have some major things they want to do. It's like they want to run roughshod on NXT, and Johnny Gargano run roughshod in on the men's side, and Candice LeRae on the women's side. And yeah, that cute blonde girl that we all remember, she's long gone, and she's got the looks of someone who's evil and mean. So obviously, if you wanted to have her as a heel, you had to change her style, and I think they did a really good job with it. So we'll wait and see how everything goes with this, and we'll see if they run the table with it. So Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and the next thing that we did have after that, as it was Mia Yim. Mia Yim, she went up against Jesse. I can't pronounce this last name, Anthony. You're gonna have to help me out here.
Jesse Camilla.
Jesse Camilla, and it was indeed Mia Yim winning the match. It was about 3 minutes and 28 seconds is what I got here. Nope, 3:10. I'm sorry, 3:10. But there was an interruption. The NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair showed up, and boys, it looks like we are gonna get it looks like we're gonna get ourselves a date with Destiny. Mia Yim and Charlotte Flair, it looks like it's gonna happen. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. Mia Yim versus Charlotte, that's gonna be a pretty good fight. And I'm gonna say it. The Queen has definitely proven herself to be quite the dynamo lately. But can she take the head B in charge? Can she take down the HBIC of NXT? And that's going to be very interesting to watch. What a happening that's going to be, and something's going to have to give. So I believe this goes to Anthony.
Goes to me.
Yeah, it is all yours. The HBIC, she won it, but then the Queen decided to descend from her throne to head her up. Oh boy. Lock and load next week.
It's on. We're getting it. It's going to be next week. Charlotte Flair against Mia Yim. Charlotte wanted her first match back in NXT to be against Mia Yim. And she wanted it. She got it. I mean, now as far as what happened in the match goes, it's obviously going to be an NA. Camilla still has some work to do, but she looked good working with Yim. She had a few nice spots and played the role of a heel well. Yim is someone is just waiting for the right opportunity to have a breakout moment. She's a unique character with great charisma. It was a short match, but it was long enough for both women to get in some offense. Charlotte and Yim had an interesting interaction after the bout was over. Another great backhand by Charlotte. A match with Mia is a foregone conclusion, but a big opportunity for Yim nonetheless. And I don't know what else there is to say, except next week we got potential for something very special. So Bullet, get ready. Next week, it could be one of the best women's matches you've had down there in quite some time. The Queen against the HBIC. Let's go, man. Bullet, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely up for it. I can't wait to see what goes down with this match next week. And yeah, and Charlotte Flair with saying that she was going to humble Mia Yim and make an example out of her with the rest of the NXT women's roster. She can say it. The question is, can she back it up? That's going to be the question, because if she can't back it up and Mia Yim gets the upset win, that's not going to be a good look for Charlotte Flair. But we'll wait and see how it goes. I can't wait to see it go down. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see Mia Yim. This is one of my personal favorites. I've been a little bit of an underground Mia Yim fan since the days of Impact Wrestling. And the thing was that she was pretty good. She was a very dominant force in the dollhouse. And then she kind of broke away from it. There was a little bit of the rivalry between Marty Bell and her, and you kind of noticed that it kind of went in the way. But Mia never really, like you said, Mia never really had a breakout moment, or she never was a breakout yet. This could be the breakout that she's been wanting more than anything else. And it could happen next week for her to go up against Charlotte Flair. And it's a non-title match. The title does not look like it's on the line. But Mia Yim versus Charlotte Flair, that's must-see TV. And that's a great match to have to go up against AEW. There's going to be a lot of interesting eyes, and a lot of people are going to want to see Charlotte next week. This is one of the reasons why you wanted Charlotte Flair on NXT, for moments like this. All right, so we move on, and it is the final of the interim matches for the night. It was the gentleman, Jack Gallagher, versus El Hijo de Fantasma. Yes, the mega superstar from AAA. And when it was all said and done, El Hijo de Fantasma wins the match, 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is all yours, my friend.
Yeah, I thought this was I thought it was a good match here. I mean, a good first match for him. So I'm gonna give it about another 2.5 for the effort here. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, this was a good, solid fight. This was a good matchup. Nothing more to add there. Um, El Hijo de Fantasma looks very good in his first fight on U.S. soil. A lot of people haven't. If you've never seen him in action, you just saw a little taste of the action from him. He is definitely a high flyer, definitely a daredevil, very good in action, a great fighter, no doubt about that. Very impressive win for him, and he's definitely going to be one of those that's going to be very high in this tournament. Is he going to win it? Maybe not, but I do think he'll have a very deep run. He'll probably be there towards the end. I don't know if he's going to be there to fight for the title, but I think he's not going to win. He's not going to lose many matches here, to say the very least. So we'll wait and see what happens. But this was a great match for me. This was at least a solid 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Anthony, it's all yours.
Solid 3. It was a solid 3-star match. And, well, it's not my first time seeing Phantasma. Don't forget, he's worked in Impact.
Yes, he has.
And I don't think this was really his first.
On the Mexican tour.
Okay, that's all right. So really, this was his first match in America. So
yeah.
But hey, 3-star match. And remember, I said he was a dark horse, and I think he is a dark horse. Jack Gallagher has been so good in this division for so long, but he definitely wasn't about to beat one of the new faces of the division. Phantasma joins Akira Tozawa at the top of the group for now. I had Phantasma figured to be the one who was, who was going to be the dark horse, but, we'll have to wait and see. But the match itself got into a decent gear by the end, told a good story with Gallagher using the mask to gain an advantage, but Phantasma overcoming those shenanigans. And it was a good match, but it didn't feel like the debut WWE had planned for Phantasma. Instead of establishing himself right away with a few decisive wins, he and Gallagher were evenly matched. Gentleman Jack's transformation is a bit jarring, but his old gimmick had worn out its welcome. It's nice to see him getting an opportunity to build himself back up. Phantasma is going to be a great addition to the WWE roster, but he will need to do something to set himself apart from the other masked luchadors who work for the company already. So that's all I can say on that. So solid 3 for me. So let's move on.
Main event of the evening. It was Velveteen Dream and Keith Lee versus Adam Cole and Roderick Strong with Bobby Fish. And unfortunately, at one point, basically, I guess what happened was it? Let me see. It was that
Keith Lee got taken out by Damian Priest.
I was about to say that. I was trying to find the note here. Yeah, Damian Priest jumped Keith Lee, laid him out, which means that Dexter Lumis, yes, that creepy son of a jackal, and yeah. So he ended up fighting with Velveteen Dream, and believe it or not, they took down the Undisputed Era. They win the match in 6 minutes and 10 seconds, as it was the Velveteen Dream with the Purple Rainmaker on Adam Cole. Wait a minute. Velveteen Dream just pinned the NXT champion. Mr. Bullock, I believe we call this a championship committee moment, don't we?
I would say so. I'm gonna ask my guys here. Velveteen Dream, #1 contender for the NXT title. Say aye.
Aye. And
it's unanimous.
And MF, you were supposed to start this match. Bullock let off on the last one.
Well, but I'm talking to Mr. Bullock because he's
right.
Mr. NXT.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah,
I needed the voice of NXT to answer an NXT question. So yes, this was a good match. This was a solid main event. I could give this about 2.5 to 3. And I actually like the way this played out, because for starters, you got the takeout, the knockdown. So you got somebody already. So you already have Damian Priest and Keith Lee. It looks like they're going to be clashing for the NXT North American title. I think that's been established. I think we can go from there. So that's one. Number 2, then you got Velveteen Dream pinning Adam Cole. That's already a championship committee moment. We already said it. So you got 2 matches you could line up, set up. So if you're NXT, you're literally pulling out of the playbook of superstar. You basically just pulled the superstar card out by basically, well, you've given us 2 possible fights down the line. Thank you. We greatly appreciate that, as always. So, nothing more to say. 2.5 to 3. Great match. Great way to close the show. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 3. The storyline between Lee and Priest robbed us of a full match from the Limitless one, but it ended up being good for Lumis. The odd man with a mustache has come across more as a heel in his first few appearances, but this may indicate he will be a babyface or a tweener character. It was a fun main event with a lot of different things going on at once. It'll be interesting to see if this leads to Lumis getting a big push or if this was a one-time thing. But yes, I mean, yeah, these Undisputed Era main events have gotten pretty formulaic, but this match went through a couple of changes and had a very interesting surprise. And furthermore, didn't go over long as many of these main event tags do. The next phase of Dream and Cole is in place, and it looks like Loomis has figured into a key role in NXT in the short term. Nice enough action, though it was clearly more about the story here. Yes, this is a championship committee moment, and somewhere down the road, Mr. Cole will have to put up or shut up, as he will have to defend his NXT championship against the Velveteen Dream. And when he does, I think this is where we're going to finally get the dethroning. And Velveteen Dream will end the longest NXT championship reign in history. So, 2.5. It's more of a 2.5, more of a 2 to 2.5 for me, really. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event?
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. I mean, yeah, obviously with Keith Lee being taken out, it did rob us of something potentially really good. But yeah, it was odd to see Dexter Lumis out there, but we'll wait and see what happens. So, but yeah, either way, the Velveteen Dream is going to be the next in line for Adam Cole's NXT title, and I think this is where the Velveteen Dream will get his moment and dethrone Adam Cole. So, nothing more to say. Let's get to final thoughts.
Anthony Florio, you lead off.
All right. Ultimately, an enjoyable show. Nothing was must see, but pretty much everything was entertaining. The matches were solid, though the main event was strange. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae had a great segment. The cruiserweight stuff was good. The women's matches were fun while setting up other stuff moving forward. The cruiserweight matches all delivered, as did the various non-wrestling segments throughout the night, particularly Johnny and Candice. Furthermore, something's up with Finn Balor, who is never on screen this week, so he simply may not have been available for some reason, though it could just be the next step in his own feud with Imperium. So that's something to think about. So that's really all I can say on this. So Michael Bullock, Mr. NXT, how did you guys and gals do this week?
I thought it was it was good, not great, to say the very least. I mean, yeah, we got to see more what came out from this cruiserweight tournament. You're improving the situation with Gargano and LeRae. And now we know who's going to be next in line for the NXT championship. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to add. Let's close it out.
All right, and we will indeed close it out. So on Friday night, we will do a special. It is going to be another edition of. It's going to be Cerebral Smack Talk. We're going to talk about SmackDown Live, and then Saturday night we are going to do a special edition of Strictly Sports, the NFL Draft. That's right. It was going to be the draft, the infamous draft recap. We'll cover all 32 teams, give our letter grade, what we liked, what we did not like on each of the teams' draft. There is a special event going down tomorrow night, but I don't know if I'm going to televise it or not. Anthony, Mike Bullock, you guys are invited. I'm going to bring some of my boys from Discord, and we might just do it as a little get-together. I don't think I'm going to do a live thing. I don't know. If you guys feel like doing it, then we'll do it. But we're going to be covering round 1 of it tomorrow night. It's going to be live at 8 p.m. on ESPN, on ABC, and on the NFL Network. They're going to do all of the first round, and it's going to be a very interesting night. It's a virtual draft. It's not going to be anywhere special. So we're going to see. Joe Burrow is practically right now tabled to be the number 1 overall pick by the Cincinnati Bengals. Will that come true? Will that happen? What is going to happen with Tua Tagovailoa? Where is he going? A number of rumors about him possibly going. And what type of bombs are we about to walk into with trades, with shocking announcements, and with this thing of technology? Are we going to get a mishap? Are we going to get some glitches? Are we going to get some drama tomorrow night? I can't wait, guys. We're all betting on some glitches. We're all betting on some dipsy doo botcharoos by some of these teams, and we're hoping to see it so that we can mock them and laugh at them. So it's all going down tomorrow night. Nothing more to say. So yeah, thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you, everybody. As always, like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms, and as always, so long, everybody.